Hey there, so here's a quick tutorial on how we are going to use the CodeSpring MCP. I'm going to show you how to get it set up, and for this video we're going to be focusing on how to get it working with Lovable. So first thing you need to realize is for Lovable to use the MCP, you need to be on the business plan. You can't do this on the pro plan, you need to be on the business plan. Obviously there's nothing we can really do about that, but it's incredibly powerful once you get it set up with CodeSpring. So what you need to do is come into your CodeSpring project. So depending on where you are working, if you are on the pro plan, you'll obviously be inside your personal project, your personal workspace. If you're on the organization, you'll be in the organization workspace. Now, the way the MCP works is no matter whether you're in your personal or your organization workspace, you can actually pull all of these projects into your Lovable plans as well. So let's just go into this app here, for example, and you can see what I've done is I've started to design it a little bit. I've obviously got the various features, I've got the tech stack, and then down here I've also got the requirement docs for each of the features and some other plans that I've created. So let's say I wanted to go ahead and implement this into my Lovable project. Very simply, all I need to do, I'm going to put this into light mode for a minute, all I need to do is come down to the MCP button down here on the right hand side. And we're given this MCP settings integration. So it's a little bit different if we want to do this for Cursor versus with Lovable. So for Lovable, we need to grab this URL and we need to generate an API key. But I'll show you how to do that in an easier way in a second. And then we just need to put them into Lovable. So first of all, we're going to come to our Lovable account over here. I'm just going to move this little thing out of the way, and I'll put my head over here, and then I think we can come into the settings section just on the bottom left, and we can come down to connectors. So at the moment you can see I've got the CodeSpring MCP installed. I'm just going to go ahead and disconnect this and I'll show you how to get it set up. So all we need to do is come to this thing here which will say new MCP server, add custom MCP server. We just need to click on setup and we're just going to give it a name. So I'm going to call it CodeSpring, and we're just going to take the URL from here. We're going to copy that URL, we're going to come into here, we're going to paste the URL like that. Now what we need to do is actually select the bearer token or API key, and this is just going to enable us to attach our API key from CodeSpring to here. And this just basically means that Lovable can now read our project, but it means, you know, if anybody gets your API key, so keep it secure. If anybody gets your API key, they can also read your projects as well. So make sure you don't leak your API key. So the other way to do this is if you come down to the bottom left here and you click on your little account icon, click on API keys, and it'll take you into your API keys section. And you can see I've done this tutorial several times. I've got loads of different API keys, but what you can do, if you're getting a little bit full, you can go ahead and delete your API keys like this. Alternatively, just click on the create API key on the top and give this a name. So I'm going to call this Lovable, and I'm going to go expires in 365 days. You can keep this live for as long as you want, but 365 days for me is probably fine. The way it works is when we update the CodeSpring MCP, if you're using Cursor will pull the latest updates for the MCP, but Lovable sometimes doesn't seem to do that, so you may have to sometimes reconnect it. So first of all, we're going to click on create, and we now have our API key. So after this video, I'm going to go ahead and obviously delete this API key, but we're going to copy this and we're going to come back to Lovable, and we're just going to paste that API key in here and then click on add server. And now you can see we have the CodeSpring MCP, and if we come into it, we can see here's all the various permissions. So this basically means Lovable can now list all the various workspaces that we have. So if we come back to our app, you can see here we have these workspaces. We've got our personal workspace and we've also got our organization workspace. So if you're on the pro plan, obviously you'll just be able to pull in your personal one, but this does mean that actually just with one MCP you can start pulling in information from your personal or also your business workspace where you've got team members working with you on that as well. So if you want to see how to create organizations and invite team members, go ahead and watch that video as well. We've got the ability to pull in all of our projects, so we can come to here. If we come back to our main page here, you can see these are all of our projects that we're currently working on. We've got these 4 projects here. Now, remember, make sure to keep your projects organized, create proper naming convention for them, so you don't have something that looks like this. You want to have something where you have proper names and you don't have the same name for multiple projects. Otherwise, when you tell Lovable to build your project, you need to make sure that the project's name name correctly, otherwise it could pull in the wrong project. There's loads of other things that it can do as well, and these basically mean it can not only pull data from our projects that we've planned, but it can also send data from Lovable back to CodeSpring as well. So I'll give you a quick demonstration of how this works. We can now come into any app that we're building, and we can come into, for example, this note taker app that I was building earlier, and we could say, for example, if I come back to my projects, I'm building this app here. So this whole design that you see here is created this app here, and this is a tutorial that you would have seen if you go ahead and watch the other tutorials. So for example, if we're trying to build this feature, if you want to see how we actually built the rest of this, if you come into the CodeSpring Academy, if we come into, I think this is one here, this is the CodeSpring Academy, and if you come into the V2 walkthroughs, you'll see there's various videos here, and if you watch this one, it'll show you how we actually built this Lovable note taker app, and we built the entire thing from if we come into here, from this whole mind map here. So the way that we do this is really, really simple. We just come into this, and all we do is we say, for example, we could now say, what projects have we planned in our personal workspace, like this. And if we come into CodeSpring, we can come to here. I am let's swap over to my personal workspace, so you can see I'm in my personal projects here. I've got these three ones here, and what Lovable is now able to do is it's going to ask us to list our workspaces, which was one of the tools that the MCP has access to. So you can see it's going to probably find us the names where we've got note taker, we've got 2D to 3D, and we've got a new project here, which I think is actually empty as well. So we come into Lovable, and it's going to say get all projects and allow, and you can see here we can actually, if we set these to always allow, every single time, if I click on like list workspaces and I allow it, if I set it to always allow, next time it needs to use this tool, it will always allow it. So you can see here we've got note taker main, we've got 2D, and we've got new projects, which are these three here. So we could also come in and say, for example, what does the 2D to 3D app do? And essentially what Lovable can now do is we can come into our project and we can see inside here we've got obviously the various features and description of how it all works. Lovable can obviously read all that information and tell us, okay, it allows you to upload a 2D floor plan, generate interactive 3D model from it, and you can actually export those designs. It's targeted for interior designers. So it's taking this information here, it knows the interior designers is the target audience, it knows what all the different features are. If you would like to trial this software as a business, you can go ahead and click the top link down below in the description. You can invite up to 10 different team members. We're going to give you over 100,000 credits, plus we're going to get on a one-on-one onboarding call with you and I, and we're going to give you a dedicated support channel. If you go ahead and click the link down below in the description, you can go ahead and read a little bit more about it. Usually a business plan would be $9,657 per year. You can try it today 100% risk-free for 7 days for $0, and then once that time is up, if you still don't want to use the software, we'll cancel your subscription. We'll get on a call with you. If you still don't want to use the software, we'll cancel your subscription, but if you do want to keep using it, it's £187 per month, and that's the best deal that we have going at the moment. So if you would like to try it, I definitely recommend grabbing a free trial in the link down below. We can also say, for example, list, let's go into my organization, and we could say, for example, I've worked on this one, org project 1. We could come into Lovable and we could say list the PRDs available in org. Oops, actually, I'll tell you what, let's not get it confused. Let's come back to, it's note taker Lovable. Let's do this one in note taker Lovable. And what I recommend doing is, if you're on the business plan and you have an organization, is you do this and you let it know that we're doing this for the workspace, which workspace you're doing it for. So this project is in the CodeSpring workspace. Send that through. Now, obviously, the name of your workspace would be different, obviously, because my company is CodeSpring. The organization is called CodeSpring, but that's the organization that we're looking at. So what it's going to do now is it can actually say, well, this is the project that we're building. So this mind map here is for this project that we've built. And you can see it says get all PRDs. We're going to allow that. And we could have also done here, always allow, which will just let it just go ahead and do these things for us. And then you can see here we've got a product requirement doc. We've got 3 front end. Let's just actually, we've added this new feature. So if you click this, we can actually collapse everything just to keep it a little bit more organized. And we'll do auto layout on that just to keep things a little bit organized. So we've got a front end, we've got a back end, and a database requirement doc for the folder and category controls. We've got the back end, we've got the database, and the front end for our note creation feature. And we've also got the front end and back end and database design for the collaboration feature as well. So there's 3, 6, 9 PRDs in there as well that I can see. So we've got here, we've got the front end, back end, and it's just listed out. These are the ones we've got. Okay, and it's done a really good job at figuring out, okay, this is how our app is currently designed. We've got these requirement docs that have been generated in this plan here, and then it's listed them all out here for us to use. Now, this basically means now what we can actually do is we can say, okay, I'm not going to do this, but we can say add these PRDs to our code base. Okay, and what I'll do is I'll scroll up. I've done this earlier. You can see what it does is I said add all these PRDs inside the code base, and it creates a folder, CodeSpring PRDs, which if we come onto here, we can't actually see. Lovable doesn't enable you to see. Oh, here you go. You can see them now. So we've got .CodeSpring PRDs, note creation editing. Okay, and we've also got search tagging. So it's just these are the product requirement docs that it created. So note creation editing, and essentially these ones here. Right, these documents that explain how to build our app are all of these ones that you see here inside your project plan. So whereas, you know, typically in the past, if you create product requirement docs, it looks really ugly like this. It's very hard to keep track of everything. You can now see those visually in your mind map here, which is incredibly exciting. And then obviously from there, you can see if you go ahead and you come into the CodeSpring courses and you watch the build an app in Lovable with MCP, you can see in that how I actually put this whole thing together using this design, which is very, very exciting. It's a very, very powerful tool. We're adding loads of other features as well. So for example, what you'll see soon is probably if you come into the courses, you'll see every now and again there'll be an alert that will tell you to go ahead and update your Lovable MCP. And what you can do is essentially in the future you'll be able to send your, well, you can already, you can come into this code base here, for example, and you could say, we've already created this app here. Can you go ahead and update this plan with these new features that we've created? So for example, search and tagging, we haven't actually created any plans on this. You can see there's no plans attached to it, but inside this app here, we have new note test. So searching works and also tagging also works. So basically what you'd be able to do is from here, you could probably say, you know, we've built the search and tagging feature. Add this PRD plan to our code base, our CodeSpring project. And then obviously from here, when you send that through, it's going to go ahead and it's going to find out, okay, well, here's how that actually works. And it's going to send it over to CodeSpring, and then you'll see it in your mind map over here. So it's very, very easy to get set up. Once it's set up, you don't really have to do anything with it. Every now and again, if we update anything, you know, we'll do a notification to let you know that it's been updated. But if there's any doubt at any point, every month, just give it delete it, re-add it. It takes 30 seconds. Lovable, I think, it's a new feature for them. So it may, if you come into settings, connectors, MCP, you can see here we've got 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. So we have 13 different tools, so keep an eye on that. If there's any more tools that show up, then you won't need to. As of now, right now, what's happening is Lovable isn't updating and pulling in a new list of tools. Cursor is different. In the next tutorial, I'll show you how to get this set up for Cursor MCP.